Today is February the 1st, year 2000. Good morning. Can you hear me well? Today is February the 1st, year 2026. Let's start with listening to three sounded well so we can relax and enjoy our well-being at the present moment. Good morning, dear Thai, dear Sangha. Today is Sunday, February the 1st, year 2026, and we are at the Great Togetherness Meditation Hall at the Blue Cliff Monastery. And I'm glad I get the chance to share with you today. We have been doing a 3-month winter retreat since November. And next Sunday, we will end the 3-month winter retreat. And I think this season has been quite cold. The temperature is sometimes sub-zero Fahrenheit. And we have a couple snowstorms and here and out. So I'm glad this week we have quite a few people coming because last Sunday, in the middle of the snowstorm, I think there are only one couple that came in from outside. Otherwise, the people are already stay in the community. So I'm glad we have a few. I think I I come up with this article that I thought quite interesting to share with you. And let me stand up and walk. So we know often the condition that bring about our happiness are sometimes very interconnected with condition for our suffering. So happiness and suffering inter-are. So often we think that we have to have a few more conditions in order for us to be happy. Otherwise, we might suffer. Say, for example, if I'm sensitive to my lungs or my cold, and I say, well, this winter retreat is too cold. I hope the snow will stop. I hope it get warmer. Maybe the spring will come or something like that. And often we fail to see that we have sufficient condition to be happy. We tend to focus only on the few things that didn't work well, and we concentrate on that. And meanwhile, our heart is working fine, our knee is working fine, our health is working fine. Most of you who are able to come here already have enough condition to be happy, to come. I know there's a couple I know in Philadelphia. They worry so much about the weather, so they've been canceled for the last 3 weeks. They signed up for the weekend, and they find out there's snowstorm, and they find it's still cold, so they cancel. They say, well, maybe another time, something like that. So for us, it's very good to focus on the condition that already provide our happiness. So we have to make paradise right here on the earth here. For example, we have a community of fourfold Sangha. We have monks and nuns that practice permanently, provide a framework for our practice. And you come sometime 3 months, sometime a few weeks, sometime the weekend to practice with us. And you provide the added element to create the collective energy so we can practice together. And we shouldn't wait for more things to be happy. I remember there's a French song, there's a word, qu'est-ce qu'on attend pour être heureux? What do you wait to be happy? So the basic, we have a practice of mindfulness, concentration, insight. And we generate that energy as a powerhouse to generate our own happiness, regardless of condition outside. There might be some element that affect us a little bit, but that's minor. So I think to me it's very important to see that. And I come up with this article. Originally it's called Universe 25. So if you Google on the internet, you will find that. And I found it fascinating and revealing, but also, for me, shocking a little bit. So there is a scientist, a sociologist. He did an experiment about 39 years, from 1947 until 1986, when he retired. He worked with the National Institute of Mental Health. At first, he did on his own experiment. And ever since he's young, sometimes he studied the behavior of birds. And of course, he trained himself. He became a scientist. He became, sometimes we call ethnologist or sociologist at the same time. And he's been working with some scientists in Norway. And they come up with some subject that he tried to create society conditions with the population. And he found that the best is he used a Norway nocturnal mice. So sometimes I use interjectively between the word rat and mice. Of course, the mice are smaller because the plural for rat is just rat with the S, but for a single it's like a mouse, and the plural is mice, so it's confusing. But actually, here we use mice. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, so between 1947 and 1986, he did about 25 social experiments. So at first he was from Rockville, Maryland. He did on his own as research with some university and so on. And he worked with the scientists in Norway. And he wrote a couple articles from his experiment. And he started to get, attention. And later on, he interviewed with the National Institute of Mental Health, and he hired him. So they have more resources, more people helping him with the social experiment. So he continued to do from 1955 until 1986 when he retired. And you can see the article from Scientific America and a few other. Of course, they have a special article from the National Institute of Mental Health, which is sometimes you have to pay to get the article, things like that. So he created an environment, a safe environment enclosure, with the big enclosure and four small enclosure with the labyrinth or conduit for them to hide if they need to escape from the main environment where the food and water are being provided. So he started with about 35 to 55 male and 35, 55 female. And so they live in a safe environment. There are no predator. There are no disease from outside because of the closed enclosure. And there are some caretakers who come from time to time to took away the, the waste and provide the good air conditioning, heat, and things so the mice don't have to worry about their survival. And then he provides free food and free water. All they need is come to that area to eat, and they will have all the food. So that's why I thought I would use the word paradise, and I stick with the 25 because that originally called Universe 25. And sometimes I added up 33 because in Buddhism we have what we call heaven, Tushita heaven on the third word in the sky somewhere, so that's why I used it. So there was no hunger. All the food and water being provided. They have a safe environment, and they have a sanitation, and they have a multiple housing within the large enclosure. And then, as you know, the rat multiply a lot quicker than other mammal or human being. I think it's about 30 days to 40-something days, they already multiplied. So the enclosure was designed to take about 1,500, 2,000 mice maximum. And at one point, he repeat the experiment. He make it larger to accommodate 4,000 mice. So that come into, it's not like a point where we question around it. The environment was well designed, and he repeat several times the experiment. He improved the experiment every time he see that. So there's no interference. He let them be. And he noticed that within that community of mice, there are very quickly a few bullies that force their way into other mice. And they create a gang, and they attack the other gang. Sometimes they would kill the young one too. But they want to make their own way, And slowly the female rat start to have fear and anxiety. And sometimes they fail to carry into the full pregnancy. Now, after we call 3 or 4, 5 generations into that. And then slowly the newborn mice actually are not able to survive. So they have a high mortality among the infant mice. So some of them start to be withdrawal. There's a pathological withdrawal, and they have a social disruption because of that bully of one who can. So there are a few mice who went into the other enclosure on the side, and they refused to eat. Because, when you go to eat, that's where all the mouse meet, and then they got bullied, they got things like that. And they will call a class of mice that are very strange, they call a beautiful groomer. So they would clean themselves, they make themselves beautiful, but they refuse to eat and they refuse to mate. And that is very strange. So it kind of isolation, they have less interest in eating, less interest in mating, and slowly the population decline. So you talk about generation, first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth, fifth, sixth. By the 10th generation, the population declined. And especially he noticed that from day 315, that's where the whole thing collapsed. And he tried to make a large enclosure, more mice, and it can last until 600 days, and the whole society collapsed. By that I mean collapse means every mouse die on their own. Because somehow there was no social structure, there no collective energy of kindness or something. I'm not sure exactly what thing. And the maximum number of mice that get to that point could be 600 when he have a small enclosure, and when he have a much larger enclosure, it's about 1,500. And that's where the society collapsed. And so to me, it's revealing, because here we have a paradise. We have no predator, we have no danger from outside, we have all the food and water, and we don't have to worry about the cold, the heat, and so on, because of the ventilation. All the waste or disposal, people took care of it. So it is a very good environment, but somehow there is a need for social interaction. There's a need of something that is missing. At that time, when he made the experiment, way back in 94, 1960, 1970, scientists were worried about overpopulation. So at that time, the purpose of the experiment was to see that there is a limit to overpopulation. It turned out not to be the case, because now we know we are 2026, and the population in China will over 1.6 billion people. In India, more than 1 billion people. We probably 9 billion, 10 billion by now. And the population seems to handle okay. Of course, we create war, we create fighting, attack, or something that probably reduce the population a little bit. And that was before the arrival of Facebook, social media, Google, internet, and so on. And because he retired in 1987, so his research got buried around, except for the scientists who are interested in review his experiment and so on. But I think, to me, as a monk, for me, it's very relevant to me, because I study to see how the society of human beings, how they interact, how people can be happy, how people suffer, what a condition to do that. So I'm trying to understand what wrong. And at that time, the condition for experiment were very rudimentary in the 60s, 70s. Of course, maybe now we have more fund for research, we have more, attended, we have more help, we can make a large enclosure, make it more affordable. So for me, I'm trying to figure out what the element that contribute to the collapsing of that my society. It probably may be the small enclosure with the dominant rat that bullies others, instinct for survival of the gene and so on. Maybe they have a hierarchy of the social strata, maybe like a caste system type of thing, when we favor only a few dominant mind and the other one are not. Maybe the lack of motivation for living. What the purpose? Well, we want to reproduce. We want to have young ones. And then after that, what? We have all the food we need. We have all the water we need. What else? So to me, and of course, I added up, can we enjoy the present moment? Do the rat know that they are happy? Do the rat know they live in a happy environment? Or they are looking for something else, And of course, they have element of fear, anxiety, maybe anger because of the bully one. And then if you cannot resist, you cannot make your place in the society, maybe you have apathy. They say, I don't care anymore, whatever, So to me, that's my interpretation, because I tried to read many articles, but so far, nobody really comment on those elements that I'm concerned with. I think to me, at that time, like I say, they will do research for overpopulation and to see whether they have a limit when any group of mammal or animal can live, and if there are too many, then they couldn't survive. But to me, they couldn't survive not because of population. I think because of something else that contributes to that. So to me, the last one is there are no migration. To me, that's the key element. There were no room for the mouse to escape from that environment. They can go to a smaller enclosure, but it still is connected to the whole enclosure. So they're trapped in that enclosure, no matter how paradise it is. So to me, being an immigrant myself, I see in many society, when we are not happy about something, we leave. There's a way to escape. After 75, I'm not happy with what happened, and I decide to jump the boat. I come, I explore more, and I become a refugee, immigrant, and I come to the U.S. And you know, the U.S. is made of full of immigrants from Russia, from Germany, from Iran, from any countries you look at, they all come. So to me, that migration, that we call what they call pressure valve, that you can escape the steam. I think that's important. I think that's the thing that are missing in those 25 experiments that John and Hu were doing that. So to me, of course, you know, I'm from Plumberlet, so for me, the purpose for living, the lack of motivation is really you need to have loving kindness. You need to have compassion for others. And you need to rejoice in the happiness of others. And you need not to discriminate, bully other people. And to take care of other people as your source of happiness. And that we call for emotional love. We can increase it. There's no limit to that. We can keep increase. At first, you can love your children, your family, and you can love your extended family. You can love your neighbor. You can love the society. You can love the state of New York. You can love the U.S., you can love other countries, you can love Iran, you can love other things as well. So to me, this is important to have that intention and the purpose for living. I don't know what the purpose for the mice for living. I cannot interview them, so I don't know. So I think to me, it comes to another thing that I learned in statistics that are very, very interesting. They call the bell curve. So you can study any population of data that includes the human being, mice, and so on. And there is we call a median. And you can have like a 50 member in a population. You can have a 200 population. You have 1,000 in the population. And most of the time, the people are somewhere form around that bell curve. There are some exceptions. This is called standard deviation from the mean. That's how far you are from what the common behavior of most of the people. And for me, a couple times it happened. There are some members who are like that, somewhere here. I would say maybe I'm somewhere here. Liberal enough, conservative. But you have to have room for people to escape. The same thing, we have to have room for people to escape. Go somewhere else. And that could be Vietnam, could be Czechoslovakia, could be Russia, and so on. And without migration, I've been studying anthropology and so on, the society, and we talk about the origin of the Denisovan population of Cro-Magnon, the Neanderthal, and Homo sapiens, and so on, and there are migration. And there are mixture with population to create a certain mix of social norm and behavior. And United States is one of those where the land of immigrant, when it happened. So then, to me, we need to have a purpose for living. It's just mating is not enough. I think there's something else. So, of course, the basic practice of plum village is a mindful breathing and mindful step. And through that, we generate right mindfulness, right concentration, and right insight. And those are our motivation and reward. And having a community with every practice, it helps because it's easy. You can come a few days, you can feel the energy already when we continue the practice and help each other. So hopefully our society don't collapse here. Okay. So the reason I'm really interested in this article because I have been sharing about, I see the 5 basic needs of living beings, especially the human. And if we can how to identify them and we can satisfy them or quench them a little bit, the desire to survive, to live, and the desire to procreate, and desire to be loved. I think when you're born, for example, you lay in a crib or something like that, and you make poo-poo or something like that, and your diaper is wet or dirty or something, and you cannot change it. So you cry. You say, I need help, And somebody love us, somebody care for us. They come, they change the diaper for us and so on. And the same thing with we're hungry, we're thirsty or something. Somebody would love to care for us. So this is very important for a human being, for mammal and so on, to have that need to be loved, to be taken care. And of course, when you are bigger, then you have that desire to love, to care for other people. And some people, have a lot of pets, a lot of cats, a lot of dogs. I know a woman who has about 20 cats or something like that, And I I don't know about the other animal, but I think to me, the desire to know, to learn where we are come from, where we will go, and so on. Our ancestors have been asking those philosophical questions for thousands and thousands of years. Who are we? What do we do? What the purpose for us? What the purpose of life, and so on. And if you can satisfy those needs, then you're okay. So to me, the desire to survive is probably not enough. I think you need to have a meaningful life. You need to have a sense of purpose for your life, to do something good to something. And the desire to procreate, we have a few monks and nuns. We practice abstinence, so we don't have children. So we have to learn how to continue through others by our practice, by our teaching, by our share with the practice, so other people can benefit from that practice, mainly mindfulness, concentration, insight, and go toward the collective awakening. And of course, the desire to be loved, to love, you can have universal love, which I just mentioned is the four immeasurable love. Oh, yeah. Love and kindness, compassion, joyfulness, capacity to be happy, and non-discrimination, inclusiveness, non-self. So to me, if you can satisfy that, and looking at the population of mice and how we can learn from that social experiment and how we can improve ourselves. And the reason I share also because if you look at our society, it has been going in the opposite direction. So I think to me that's the learning lesson for us to help each other, to be kind, to be loving, to be helpful to each other, and not to discriminate people. And because your survival, not only your offspring and so on, depend on the survival, on the happiness of others that create the society. So to me, that is very relevant for us to it's a worthwhile effort to do that. And of course, we can do that while being happy. So that way to say, from selfish love to universal love, the desire to survive, to live, to have meaningful in life, and desire to procreate, to continue, and with the four universal love, desire to be loved, desire to love, and desire to know. So the desire to know, especially for a human being, is to have more understanding, to have more insight about our human nature, about our capacity for awakening, our capacity to be with the kingdom of God, things like that. So to me, that is very, very relevant to us. So we need to improve our evolution of a human condition. We don't want to go back to the cave, We want to improve our consciousness and improve our society. Because right now we have a lot of technical advance, like AI and all kind of things. Very soon we'll be replaced by robots and things like that. So we need to treasure what is left to the human nature and what is the highest purpose of the human nature. I think to me that's very important for us to focus on and to share and to help each other. So, dear Thai, dear Sangha, I hope I get the chance to share with you about these things because to me, I found this article is so interesting, and I'm trying to get a few more articles. I saw there was some scientific article in 2007, 2017, 2009. So apparently there's some scientists are start to be notice those experiments. And I hope they can continue to do more research and do something like that to be more relevant to our time. Because these experiments were done between 1947 and 1986. And I know because I lived through those times, so I know the conditions were very primitive. At that time, the scientists don't have a lot of fun, a lot of things research, and they can do with some other, experiment just to see. And even though sociologists can study human behavior in different society, when I think, for example, like now we have a eminent thing in Iran or something, what was happening during the Shah and after that with other things. And then, so I think to me, I think it's good to study this and to see what is relevant to the society and to our community, for example. To me, I share with you because the member community, often we have a few things that are not according to our wish, and we complain, we worry, we are sad because of that. And meanwhile, we have so much condition to be happy. So we can see that experiment with that paradise of the mice, and they can do. I think one thing I noticed is the missing is the migration. I think if we can redo the experiment, we have to allow the mouse to leave, to go somewhere, to a second separate enclosure and see what happened with that. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you. So we listen to three sound of the bell.